Hi, I'm Leslie Frietch, and my research is about the role of Hinduism in shaping Indian politics. I chose this subject as I have a friend who is from India and follows politics often. This gave me an opportunity to have a sit-down conversation with him about the state of the country in which he was born. Hinduism is one of the world's oldest and most complex religious traditions, with roots tracing back over 3,500 years. It is the dominant religion in India, where over 79% of the population identifies as Hindu. The religion plays a profound role in shaping the cultural, social, and spiritual fabric of Indian society. Unlike other religions, Hinduism is not merely a set of religious beliefs, but it's a comprehensive cultural system that influences almost every aspect of daily life, from social interactions to politics and governance. India is a secular republic as defined by its constitution, which guarantees freedom of religion and attempts to maintain a neutral stance towards all religions. Despite this constitutional framework, religion, particularly Hinduism, continues to play an influential role in shaping the political landscape. The influence of Hinduism is evidenced in government decision-making, policy formulation, and strategic mobilization of voter bases along religious lines. I chose this research to answer the question, how does Hinduism influence politics in India? It is my assertion that Hinduism has played a central role in shaping Indian politics by influencing party ideologies, social policies, and national identity. The intersection of religion and politics in India raises important questions about the country's future trajectory as a secular democracy. Hindu nationalism, as a distinct political ideology, began to gain prominence in the early 20th century, particularly in the struggle for independence from British colonial rule. The Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh played a significant role in promoting Hindu nationalism by emphasizing the importance of Hindu cultural and religious identity for India. Founded in 1925, the RSS sought to instill Hindu values into the public sphere, advocating for a Hindu-centric vision of India. The struggle for independence from British colonialism, especially during the 1920s and 1930s, saw the rise of movements that not only sought political independence, but also promoted the idea of a Hindu-dominated nation-state. These movements contributed to fostering Hindu unity and pride, which later laid the groundwork for the concept of a Hindu state. The ideology of Hindutva, first articulated by Vinayak Damodar Savarkar in his 1923 work, emphasized the idea that Indian culture should be defined in terms of Hindu values, with Hindus as the central actors in the nation's identity. In 1947, India gained independence from Britain. Under the leadership of Jawaharlal Nehru and the Indian National Congress, the INC, the country adopted a secular constitution that guaranteed religious freedom for all citizens, aiming to prevent any single religion from dominating political life. Nehru's vision for India was that of a modern pluralistic nation-state, where secularism would be central to national identity. However, other leaders like Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel recognized the importance of Hindu traditions and culture, while also acknowledging the necessity of maintaining India's secular credentials. Despite these efforts, Hindu nationalist movements continued to gain strength, particularly after the 1980s, as political parties began to use religion to further their agendas. Founded in 1980, the BJP adopted Hindutva as a central element of its political ideology. This party, which traces its origins to the RSS, used the idea of a Hindu nation to mobilize voters and create strong electoral base, particularly in the 1990s and 2000s. The BJP's policies emphasize using religious symbols and rhetoric associated with Hindu identity, such as the promotion of cow protection laws and the introduction of legislation relating to religious matters. These policies resonated deeply with the Hindu voters and helped the BJP secure victories in elections. The emphasis on religious identity has made Hinduism a central part of the party's political strategy. It continues to fuel the party's political success and its ability to maintain support among the Hindu majority, often at the expense of India's secular principles. The Indian National Congress, traditionally seen as the party of secularism, has consistently promoted the idea of a unified Indian identity that transcends religious boundaries. The INC has traditionally worked to prevent religious divides from influencing the country's governance. However, Rajiv Gandhi's decision to support the construction of a temple at a disputed religious site in the 1980s represented a shift in this policy. This decision, though aimed at fostering Hindu-Muslim unity, inadvertently fueled divisive religious politics and contributed to the rise of religious nationalism. Regional parties like Shiv Sena in the Maharashtra and Akali Dal in Punjab also use Hinduism as a political tool. Shiv Sena emphasizes Hindu identity to strengthen its regional appeal, while Akali Dal combines Sikh and Hindu religious symbols to promote regional and religious nationalism. Political movements in states such as Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal also utilize Hindu identity to consolidate their voter base, demonstrating the widespread role of religion in regional politics. Although the caste system was formally outlawed in the Indian Constitution, it continues to have a significant impact on political policies. The caste system has historically been intertwined with Hinduism, and despite efforts to dismantle it, this system continues to shape political alliances and policies. The government has used caste-based affirmative action policies to address historical injustices faced by lower caste communities. However, caste remains a contentious and divisive issue in Indian politics, while political parties often seeking to cater to the interests of both upper caste and lower caste voters. Hinduism plays a prominent role in the cultural and educational sphere of India. Textbooks in many regions reflect Hindu-centric worldviews, and the government supports Hindu festivals such as Diwali, promoting them as part of India's national culture. The promotion of Hindu rituals and the preservation of Hindu temples, as well as the celebration of Hindu traditions at the national level, further reinforces the religion's cultural dominance. India has enacted personal laws for Hindus, such as the Hindu Marriage Act and the Hindu Succession Act, which regulate matters related to marriage, inheritance, and family life. These laws reflect the cultural and religious values of Hinduism. The Uniform Civil Code, which aims to standardize personal laws across religious groups, has been a subject of significant debate. Proponents argue that it is necessary to ensure equality for all citizens, while opponents believe it undermines the religious freedoms enshrined in the Constitution. India's secularism, which seeks to maintain a separation between religion and state, is increasingly under pressure. The growing influence of Hinduism in politics challenges the secular foundations of the Indian state. Hinduism's rising influence in politics poses a challenge to the vision of a secular, pluralistic India and has raised concerns about the future of India's democratic and secular principles. The promotion of a Hindu nation, Hindu Rashtra, by various political parties has sparked debates about the future of India's national identity. The question remains whether India can maintain its pluralistic identity or whether it will shift towards becoming a Hindu majority state. The use of Hindu icons and symbolism in political rallies, as well as the growing emphasis on Hindu nationalism, highlights the increasing role of religion in defining its political identity. The rise of Hindu nationalism in India has affected its relationships with neighboring countries such as Pakistan and Bangladesh, which have large Muslim populations. The growing prominence of Hinduism in India has strained diplomatic ties with these countries. The influence of Hindu nationalism can also be seen within the Hindu diaspora, particularly in countries like the United States, where the community has become more politically active in promoting the Hindu cause. The 1992 demolition of the Babri Masjid in Ayodhya led to the widespread riots, highlighting the divisive potential of religious politics in India. This incident marked a turning point in Indian politics, further polarizing Hindu-Muslim relations and strengthening Hindu nationalism. The long-lasting effects of this controversy continue to shape India's political landscape, influencing party ideologies and social dynamics. The protection of cows, which are considered sacred in Hinduism, has become a highly politicized issue. Various states have enacted laws that restrict the slaughter of cows, leading to political debates over religious freedom and economic interest. Cow vigilante groups, many of which are associated with Hindu nationalism, have targeted Muslims and Dalits involved in the beef trade, resulting in violence and social unrest. The BJP's continued use of religion as a tool for electoral success has led to increased religious polarization in India. This division is evident in political and religious clashes that fuel social unrest constantly. The politicization of religion has led to a situation where some political hopefuls, in order to gain support, project themselves as devout Hindus despite their personal beliefs otherwise. The rise of Hindu nationalism has affected India's international standing, particularly with Muslim-majority countries like Pakistan. India's growing religious identity as a Hindu-majority nation has led to tensions on the global stage. As a result, India's diplomatic relations with its neighbors have been strained, and its image in the international community has become increasingly shaped by its religious politics. The growing prominence of Hinduism in Indian politics raises an important question about the future of India as a secular democracy. The increasing influence of religious politics threatens to undermine the secular framework envisioned in the Constitution. The rise of Hindu nationalism could lead to greater political instability and further polarization, posing a challenge to India's democratic values. It is absolutely evident that Hinduism has had a profound impact on shaping the political landscape of India. The tension between secularism and religious politics challenges the country's pluralistic vision and raises questions about the future of its democratic institutions. The increasing role of Hinduism in political discourse has led to religious polarization, and the future of India as a secular democracy is indeed in jeopardy. As Hindu nationalism continues to gain influence, India must grapple with the implications for its social, political, and international relationships. The evolving role of Hinduism in politics will undoubtedly shape the country's future for better or for worse. This research paper really drew my attention. I think I could have written hundreds of pages on this subject. But most importantly, it gave me an opportunity to understand my friend better. It gave me an opportunity to understand why he chose to move his family so many thousands of miles away from the home that they knew so that they could be in the United States and have freedom of their Christian religion. If you are at all interested in knowing more, I provided the sources for my initial research here on this slide. I hope you've enjoyed it.